Loon Live. We are going to be tying a few, well, they're not really steelhead patterns, but I use them a lot for steelhead fishing. The first one up tonight is going to be a kind of an interesting play on a little stinger soft tackle. You can see how the hook is not really attached though. It's been something I've been playing around with, so we'll talk more about that. And secondly is a fun little skater bug, skate beetle. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. But yeah, we'll hopefully you guys have all been getting out and fishing. I've got something stuck in my vise. I don't know what I have stuck in here. Use some Rhea maybe to get it out of there. There we go. Cool. Lots of deer hair. Anyways, hopefully you guys have been getting out fishing. Hopefully Livestream did some big upgrade thing. I don't know what it does. It sounds difficult and weird. So hopefully you guys can still comment and hear me alright. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll hop up close, get in on the vise as usual, and we'll tie a few bugs. There's the vise. Alrighty. Oh, hello, Aaron. How you doing? Alright, so I'm going to put my finger here as always to try to get us to lock in. Let's see if we can get this. Dennis? I got all of the backing on those reels. Absolutely. Brent, how's it going? So first up, we're going to tie this little soft hackle skater deal, or swing and fly here. And whatever hook you choose, the only thing I care about is that it has a straight eye on it. As you can see, this is a straight-eyed hook. Hey, Dennis. Real good. I'm good, man. I just finished like 600 flies not that long ago, so I'm a pretty happy guy. Can't lie about it. As you see, I have, you know, a red bead on here. This guy has a blue bead. I play with the tungsten bead color. You can see we have greens, blues, reds, browns, blacks. I've done some with rainbow metallic hued beads, and they work. It's just a big soft tackle with a stinger hook. Mark, hello. Aaron, ouch. Yeah, right. Terry, hello. Samuel, hello. Welcome. I remembered my bobbin, so we're off to a pretty good start here. So my thread tonight, as usual, is my 50D from Vivus. And what I do is I just kind of measure out how long I want the overall fly to be. And we'll go ahead and clip that. You guys getting excited for all the new toys to start coming out onto the fly fishing market? Hopefully. Mark R, hello. Rick, hello. So this is some small Senyo's intruder wire. It's the size 6 or below, and I'm hoping it'll go through this guy. And this is just an egg hook, so nothing super fancy here. And the way I'm rigging these to get them to hang, it's not replaceable, but at the same time I want this to be really less of a point to where a fish can leverage. So I just put it right through the eye, as you guys can see. Not a lot of, it's just doubled over through the eye. Toys, tell me more. You know, we might have oh yeah, some new forceps, and if you guys focus, you might see some of the new stuff popping out. I just got some samples in here, or the finals. I guess they're not samples anymore. So what I do is I'm just going to fold that over, and I leave these wires long, and this is going to just add a little bit to the taper of our body, and we'll just go ahead and wrap that over. Now once we have, I've never had a fish pull this out, so I don't stress out over it a ton. But now that I say that, the next fish I catch will probably totally thrash us. Am I not there, Aaron? Clark, good evening. How are you, sir? So I'm going to take just an old pair of scissors. I think Clark just got a goodie bag too. What happened? I don't know. Did something go wrong? Is it haywire? Is it working now? Do we have a connection, ladies and gentlemen? Nice. I get nervous. These live stream things are kind of technical. So, alrighty. So we have a ramp here. It's probably Aaron's computer. Why, thank you, sir. So yeah, we just get that in there, and this thing won't come out. I've put like 15 pounds of pressure, and the only way you're ever going to accomplish that is if you have a really killer reel and you point it straight down at the fish without the rod being involved. So, totally frozen. You may need to refresh, because I watch just like you guys watch and watch the comments come in, so you may need to refresh. Maybe back. Okay, I'm back. Okay. I told you we had a little bit of some new stuff with live stream going on. So this is some pheasant tail, and it's been dyed black. You can use natural. You can use whatever your heart desires. And we're just going to throw a tail on this. It doesn't seem to matter too much where you throw the tail in. With your real internet. I like it. And the wire's up to you. I'm going to use red just to kind of be matchy-matchy and look nerdy, but whatever color floats your boat. Mix and match this stuff. There's no die-hard fast, this is the color you have to use, which is why we all like tying flies, because you can manipulate stuff and make it fun in your own. So what we'll do is we're going to create a PT. And I got asked via email if Yvon Chouinard's article spurred me, and I forget which magazine it was supposedly in. I don't subscribe to fly magazines. Just not a subscriber. For personal reasons. But mostly because I don't want to be influenced in my design process while I am trying to come up with fun, new stuff. You guys like these scissors? Hey Brandon, how's it going? Welcome. I'm glad you made it as well. So I'm going to pull off another hardy portion of these pheasant rumps. And as you get, bigger and bigger in the size, just for comparison, you can see I've added, 1/4 inch to the body on this guy. So I'm going to use a larger hackle section. There's rules on Cheech. I like it. Rules are made to be broken. That's what I was told. So I'm just going to wrap this up basically as far as I can. Should have had my material clip up there, but I don't. So now we'll rib this guy. You can rib however your heart desires. I don't get too fancy with these. I tend to lose them in fish. So I'm throwing this actually on a glass 3-weight most of the time. Maybe a 4-weight if I'm on the Trinity. So it's pretty fun. It's seriously a good time. Rick asks if I fish the Rogue. Yeah, I have definitely in the past. Usually just outside of the Medford area, through Medford, and then towards Grants Pass most of the time, and probably like Shady Cove. A couple of the I always forget the name of the park that's there. It's pretty easy to get to though. But I fish that when I get a chance. So let's see here. So yeah, if you wanted to spice it up, we can use a little pheasant tail ice dub in here. You can use the peacock black. You could throw in some peacock eye. I didn't know you could count that high, Aaron. Touville, yes, that is. I should have remembered that because I've worked at the event at Two Hands at Touville. So what we're going to do with this guy, and I've found that the colors, man, they're just going to eat. So the colors are not the most important thing unless you're really trying to match an insect hatch. So I'll throw in a little peacock eye here too. This is fast becoming one of my favorite colors of ice dub. Oops. That hook is sticky. So we're going to brush that out here. So this stuff works really well for me also on larger trout on the lower sack and a little bit smaller size. So probably any of your waterways that you're fishing, bugs will eat the swung fly. They don't discriminate. Did you tell her that you're going to California to paint a house for free yet? Aaron? Bobby asked, what glass do I fish? I am fishing the Echo glass rods. And that was a little bit of a loaded question for me, but I have very old Orvis glass rods. I have probably about 20 to 30 glass rods at this point in time living in my garage. I don't tell my wife that I have that many, but it's more realistic. Is anybody going to watch How It's Made on Monday at 9, I guess? Regal is being featured on How It's Made. I thought that was pretty cool. I know they've done a little bit on Ross before. So I thought it was cool to get to see Regal out there getting to get a little action. She knows now. No, she doesn't. She doesn't watch me do this. She's probably out back hanging out. What's up, Evers? How's it going? I could trade painting for a fishing tool. I like this. I'm going to get my house painted. Exactly. It's research. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that everybody's pretty well seated in there. And then we'll send it to Cheech looking like that, because he likes that. But it's going to get a pretty good little standout effect there. And I'm going to take some flow and we're just going to stabilize. So one thing I do is I'll come around and let that run up into the fibers on that partridge. And what it's going to do is just keep, even though I know Cheech totally disproved the fact of that wet fly look thing with the fish skull tank, but it's just going to help hold these hackles. You can see how they're holding out more now, so they're going to present much more naturally rather than getting laid back. So, glad to hear you're doing well, Mr. Evers. Aaron's trying to defend his trade. I love it. And so after I get done there, what I'll do is I'll kind of leverage all this stuff up out of the way. And I've been scorned for this before, but I didn't mention this, but I use the cheapest hook I can find for the sacrificial lamb here. So once we put this hook back in, you can see it's just kind of like how, you know, Cheech and all the guys, Matt, you probably do the same thing, Mr. Evers, articulate shanks between each other, but it's actually just going to be your connection point. So if you do happen to hook, you know, bigger fish, these egg hooks are like 2 to 3x strong, 2x short. It's really going to hold up pretty well. It's not going to it's not the biggest hook in the world. This one happens to be a 14. You can use all the way up to a 10. But it's really just going to cut down on that longer shank leverage that the fish has. And this is really kind of based off of my old perpetrator pattern. But yeah, it's been a fun one. Time in oranges and every color of the rainbow, and smaller and bigger. But yeah, there it is. Oh man, Aaron, you're just getting harshed on. Going straight from the growler tonight. Thank you, Cheech. Oh man. I have to turn my air conditioning off because it gets super noisy, so it just gets super hot in here. Don't ever come to Reading in the middle of summer. It's a little warm at times. Thank you, Mike. Slacker Painting Company. So the little skate beetle, it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a skating fly. If you fish it like as a dead drift, it works out all right. If you want to skate it, you can. This is a size 8 or 10. And my wife's going to keep telling me to offer guide trips for painting now for like the rest of my life. So yeah, so this is just a little pattern that I developed, kind of October caddisy colors, kind of just really earthy, a lot going on with it, moves around, and I fished it for trout, some panfish. I think I've even had a bass eat it in a back channel when I didn't have anything else, and of course steelhead. So it's a pretty versatile pattern. I like the down eye for this. It makes me feel like it's just going to kind of push in there. So I'll tie it bigger so it's a little easier to see. That is true. I would much rather go fishing than go painting. Painted a house before. You guys are ludicrous for wanting to do it without being tortured into it. If I got Cheech out here, we wouldn't even need a ladder. Just kidding, buddy. So I'm going to take a piece of foam and I'll show you what I do here. Just my general impression of... So just take a brief measurement and get a little wasteful. And I cut kind of a very oddly shaped, I think, trapezoid. Aaron, has your wife taught you shapes yet? Can you help me out on this one? So we just end up with this little wedge or a carrot looking shape of foam. We'll set that down there. Next up, we're going to bring in just a little deer hair, and this is like a golden brown primo strip, so it comes in a very long strip. I happen to like the primo strips quite a bit, and you get a little bit more of an offering. And what I do is I'll take, you know, how I want the tail to look. I don't want it to be even, and I want it to have a little bit of character behind it. And then we'll just take in some soft wraps. I don't really want to flare this a ton. And then I'll just start working forward. Then we can really start to flare this out. So everything up here just kind of gets popped off. And what we're left with is a little tail. Now sometimes I put flash in the tails, just to spice it up a bit. And you guys wanted to see some new stuff, so I obtained some new stuff. Yeah, I think, yeah, Kelly loves the primo deer hair. I'm a normal size Sasquatch. So chicken and flat. So this is kind of a cool new material that I got. It's called Ripple Ice Fiber. And if you guys have ever used ice wing fiber before, this is its kind of curly older brother. So it comes out and it's got a cool metallic sheen behind it. And this is from Hairline. This one happens to be RIP 67. Just let you guys see that. It is offered in a full gamut of rainbow colors. I'll spare you the going through them all. But what I do is I just like I do with ice dub, I'll just work on aligning it. If you wanted to put a little flash on the tail of this guy, this is a cool fiber. It's a little tiny bit stiffer than, say, Ice Wing, I would say. But sometimes, like I said, when I add flash to these, I like to get it dialed in. Or if you've ever used Creepy Crawly Ice Dub, it's pretty similar to that as well. I have a bad tendency of just tearing things up, Cheech. I'm sorry. I just attack. So we're going to take our carrot, or I think this is chicken according to Aaron, and we're just going to take a loose wrap and just progressively tighten right into that tail segment. So this ultimately will be getting folded over to create our wedge head, but it's out of the way for the time being. So we'll bring in some deer hair, and I don't take a ton of time. I just kind of flip through, get as much of the underfluff out as possible. Then make sure it's kind of going all the way around. And with the 50D, you want to just steady flare. You don't want to go too animal style on it. You don't want to do it like a boss, because it can cause some damage here. We'll just progress our thread forward. And this doesn't have to be, you know, like a super tightly packed beast here. Make sure I'm going to come all the way around. And again, just really make sure you get that hair locked in there as good as possible. I'll do one more clump. And then we'll start our trimming. Kind of going fast tonight, it feels like. Maybe these are just shorter patterns. This one won't be short, but a PT doesn't take very long to tie. Should have added in some... Oh, I forgot to UV resin the whole body of the PT. What a goober. You guys started messing with me and I forgot stuff. Okay. We'll go with a razor blade here. And if you ever tied a scalper, you just want to kind of trim your pathway. And on the top. All your curvatures and everything else will be on the bottom. It's a floater, but it is deer hairy. So I just kind of rock in and just start to get my general shapes here. And you can see, you can really, there's that bend a blade. I just loaned mine to my friend so he could take pictures of it for his shop. But and you want to leave some good hook gap. And now we'll really kind of start to, you can see you don't need a ton outside of there, so we just got to start shaping the body in. So you can see you can get like a really good purchase back here where it's going to line up. Just make a mess of everything. It's probably all on the keys on the computer. It's good though. We're not going for a Pat Cohen fly right here. I'm going to bring just a little more off the top here. Sorry, deer hair trimming is kind of like not the most interesting thing in the world, but it's a necessary evil for this. That'll catch fishermen. I tie flies to catch fish. That is true. Like the triple articulated fisherman grabber. Pack Cohen. Yeah. I want to invent like some mechanical vise that just like mimics Pat's deer hair skill set and market it to fishermen. Requires like a motor, everything else. Just compressing deer hair in like an animal. Cheech flies don't work. Alright, so there's a shiny side and the dull side. I'm going to go shiny side down. And what I've done is I've cut this guinea into a V. And this is going to be my rear set of legs here. And what I do is I just kind of set the stem right on top. Gently wrap around. Take a soft wrap. Work back over itself. Some of the shorter fibers, but you'll get this really cool. And this one's a little bigger as far as the legs go because it's a bigger hook. So this will just give some resistance and stuff like that. My daughter has some Cheech flies. She doesn't let anybody else touch them. She's like hyper protective of Cheech. Cheech gave me this. It's pink. So I'll go ahead and transition into just a black deer hair up front. And then when we pull everything over, we'll add in the rubber legs and stuff like that. Been spinning deer hair for a few days in my office, and I think I killed my wife's vacuum. She'll know about that now. Alright, so I'm just going to take this guy, come straight in at it. And we'll flare. We'll add pieces of flare here. She does. She does have a tying station. She is living quite the life with all of my pink materials too, nonetheless. How did I get that through the eye there? This is some fine deer hair. So, we'll do one more bunch up there. Little man's on the prowl up here. Somebody's let him free. This is not good. Alrighty. Let's just start building a little thread dam here to hold that hair back. Okay, so same program again. We'll just start to come in generalized trimming here first. That doled out quick. Bummer. And it's not the Wilkinson sword. That's why. Somebody let the little man on the loose. If you guys can hear the little man, he's a wild boy. So you want to chip away at this nice and slow so you don't tear out all your guinea. I'm not bleeding, I'm doing it wrong. That is true. That does happen. Especially with the, man, after the amount of callus I have on my fingers though, from some recent working, you'd be quite amazed. So we're going to pull this flap forward just a bit, make sure we got our tail still in there. Not a huge tail, but enough. And then I'll just start to work that down, and after I get a few securing wraps, then I'll just come in up underneath here. And if you're using a larger thread, that kind of helps in this area for just building a prop. Okay, so once I get all that kind of stabilized where I want it, we'll bring the legs in. It needs to be cupped like that to be cool, I guess. That's the hip thing. For your legs, we can go with Perfect Rubber. It's a really good option. Spit on it. Oh, how old? Yes, that was an Office Space reference. Good call. My son is almost 3, so he's pretty much ruined. He goes fishing too much with me. So I'll bring these legs out. When Cheech said my wife's a saint, he was probably right the other day, because she let me name my kid after my drift boat oars. So that's probably pretty much sainthood right there. Okay. We're going to pull this guy up. Just pull everything out of the way here. Probably pull everything out of the way first. And we'll whip finish. So skaters are kind of fickle, fun little beasts to fish. I don't think most people don't fish them for trout, but trout will eat them, especially big orange ones in October. Once we bomber glue the legs in there, it'll be alright. Spit on it. What am I supposed to be spitting on here, Aaron? Not sure what you're talking about. So I'm going to take some flow, and I'm going to build just a little bit of a dam here, and try not to glue the legs together. But what that's going to do is, as this is getting pushed, it'll add a little bit of stability, and then I also add flow not only to the thread wraps, but to the front of this, just to help it to solidify a lot more, so you can actually make it a lot tougher. So, and now what I do is I just come back in here with the scissors. You can trim up any little offenders, stuff like that. But yeah, just a fun little skate beetle. Absolutely, Mark. Skate or die. What were you saying wow to, Cheech? That my son's name's Sawyer after drift boat oars? Thank you, Aaron. Brandon, thank you. So, yeah. Have you guys seen this thing yet? I've been playing with this a lot. I'm sure Cheech will do like this epic review on it. That'll be really funny. But I'll zoom out to show you guys. So it is this super whiz bang. Is that as far out as this goes? Okay. Whatever. Super cool dubbing spinner tray that I've been seeing out there. So it goes on your rotary vise, and thanks. Oh, the material for a flash tail. Yeah, here, let me show you. It's just popped out on the market a few days ago. Cataract. Oh God, no. So it's Ripple ice fiber in copper was what I used for the tail, and I'll show you guys a few more of the cool colors. There's kind of this amazingly wild metallic orange, black, of course, a UV pearl. They come in these opaques too, which are, you guys see on my Instagram, like intruders and stuff. I'll show you some I did in a just in a quick dubbing loop. That's all that is 3 colors of Ripple ice fiber to create that much body. But yeah, it comes in a peacock, blues, pinks, more blues, smolt blue. So just a ton of cool stuff, ton of cool colors. Cataract, my son Cataract. He's predisposed to later in life eye problems. So, yeah. Yes, the new spinner is super snazzy. It's over getting photographed right now, along with my bend blade. Absolutely, Brandon. It's between that and you know, the Predator wrap. I did one with did a fly with does this one have Predator wrap in it? Yeah, so this guy has some, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. So it has some barred Predator wrap, and, you know, I was just doing a quick little play around with it, but the amount of volume you get out of it's pretty cool, especially with when you spin it in a dubbing loop. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of fun ways to speed up your tying. Anytime you're doing like a big batch of any materials, if you can do, especially steelhead flies, if you can lay everything in there and do like a big brush, do a few wraps, tie it off, and you're done, it's going to speed up your life and make your world a lot happier place. So, does anybody have any recommendations for next week? Desires? Dennis, I think we made you happy. We did a skating fly. I know that, because I saw you at the fly shop here locally. But yeah, if there's anything anybody wants to see, otherwise I might go into a new caddis pattern. It's an October caddis, but it's using the new logo. It is. I like it too. It's good. It's a good logo. Salmon bomber. Boy. All right. I will harness all of my inner chi, Terry, and tie a salmon bomber. I believe that's probably the second time you've asked me to do a salmon bomber. Possibly. Or I know it's come up multiple times, so I will definitely do a salmon bomber, which is a big articulated smallmouth fly. Okay, so I have salmon bomber and articulated smallmouth fly. I think we can accommodate that. Should be good. So, yeah, I think that is about all I have for this evening. Don't forget to be on the lookout for some new stuff. Probably the next time we meet, I'll have a lot of fun new stuff to show you guys, and some exciting new patterns as well. So, I'm gonna bum Aaron out and not be really awkward on the outgoing of this anymore. But yeah. Anyways, guys, I greatly appreciate you tuning it in. Spruce moth, it's what's up. It's like that big, just a big spruce moth. I'll send you one, Cheech. Nice. I haven't been on Instagram, Aaron. I'll have to check it out. Smallies. Perfect. All right, guys. I am going to escape and save whoever's watching my children, just like either my sister-in-law or my wife. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Brent, thank you. And yeah, so Smalley and a Balmer. Anyways, guys, take care. We'll see you next time.